rebounds. Trey Hannibal. So now on to Friday night. Oh, by the way, Hartsville lost the game. Wilson moved on. So last night at the lower state finals, and the Mullins Lady Auctioneers, who had played and lost to East Clarendon twice this year, got them for a third time. And this was for the right to go to the state championship. And Mullins put on a defensive display last night. It was unbelievable. They absolutely shut down the little superstar from East Clarendon. They had combinations of 1, 2, or 3, sometimes 3 players guarding her. I think they were guarding her directly out of the locker room, and 3 people stayed with her until that game was over. She couldn't breathe. One guy said here, Terrell Pinckney he said it best. He said, it's like they put her in a straitjacket. I'm talking about when the ball is being thrown in, there were 3 people on her. Anytime she got the ball anywhere, there was already 2 people on her, but here come a third. By the time that game was over, that kid was gassed. And they were done. Because she was the only ball handler they had on that team. And Mullins made sure that if they were going to get beat last night, it wasn't going to be by her. And so a great performance by Mullins last night. Great strategy. They have earned their way back to a 3rd consecutive state championship. And I want to talk about some of the people a little bit later who really got it done for them. But I guess first and foremost, I would have to start with Janelita Nichols, who was a beast last night on the boards, who was everywhere for Mullins last night, blocking shots, rebounding, scoring from the wing, scoring inside. Without her efforts last night, then there's really nothing else to talk about this morning, because she willed Mullins to victory yesterday, along with the defense and contributions from everybody that touched the floor last night for Mullins. And then there was this little girl that stepped out of the shadows that I didn't really know about until last night. She's got a nice, interesting little name. Her name is Kelly Friday. I got to tell you, and I got to be honest with you. Until last night, I didn't know who Kelly Friday was. This morning, I know who Kelly Friday is. Kelly Friday is a little girl who was in the 10th grade. All right, not now. Okay. Who's in the 10th grade that has no fear. And she plays hard. She makes big shots, and she makes them, as I said, with no fear at all. She was as big a part of this win last night as anybody, because it was she that jump-started the Mullins offense during that slow start of the game. So I'm sure I'll be talking more about her over the next 2 years. But right now, Kelly Friday has stepped out of the shadows and into the limelight. And I think that no matter what happens in the state finals, she's going to have to be something that somebody plans for, because she's now a factor. So great performance by Mullins last night. Congratulations to Mullins and their fans and the coaching staff and everybody for doing a fantastic job. You know, I have been communicating with Jessica Gerald over the last several weeks, and she's big on this. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. And I think that she may be onto something here. I had thought about it before, but Mullins had lost to East Clarendon twice this year, beat them in the lower state finals. Mullins had lost to Marion Girls last year twice, beat them in the lower state final. This year, Wilson had lost to Darlington twice this year, beat them in the lower state final. Earlier in the week, Hartsfield had beaten Wilson twice this year, and Wilson knocked them off in the third game, which was played last Wednesday at Wilson High School. So that theory of how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in one season, my goodness, it's looking like gospel right now. So I guess any of you out there who happen to get into a situation where now you have to play a team for a third time, I'd watch out. This thing is real. But anyway, let me take a look at the brackets. I wasn't able to, I got most of them. The 2A girls didn't come up. I'm told that, let's see. Would somebody out there tell me who Mullins is playing next week? Because I'm told it's Christ Church, but I'm not 100% sure. Because when I tried to print out the girls' bracket, the boys' bracket came up. So I went back again and said, well, this is the boys' bracket. Let me try this again. And again, there's some kind of mix up there where the girls' bracket is being printed, is not being printed, and the boys' bracket is in its place. But anyway, Mullins is in the state championship. That much I do know. And I think they play Christ Church, but Christ Church had to play yesterday against Lee Central, and the winner of that game will face Mullins next week at 10:30 a.m. at the Colonial Center. March 2nd, 10:30 a.m. Boy, that's early. Which just made up my decision for me this now. I was thinking that I would come here next week and do the program and then head off to Columbia and get there 11:30 or so to watch the game. But that's not going to happen because this game is being played at 10:30 in the morning. So I'm telling you right now that I won't be here next week. I will do live feeds from the Colonial Center. But again, congratulations, Mullen. Looking at the single A bracket, which has already been decided through today, High Point Academy will play Estill, for the lower state finals. Scotts Branch will play against the Lakeview Wildgators today. And that game will be played at 11 o'clock at the Civic Center. So, High Point Academy, Estill, Scotts Branch, Lakeview. How'd you know that I needed help today?
What's that?
You knew I needed help, right? I'm struggling, man. Yo, I am straight struggling this morning, bruh.
I want to get your take on what else happened last night.
Well, I tell you, I guess, like I said, this kid, Terrell Pinckney, may have described it best when it came down to Mullins' defense last night. He described it as straitjacket defense. I don't think that's a bad description, dude.
Nah, that's not bad at all.
I don't know that I've ever seen one person get that much attention on the floor in a high school game ever.
Not full court. I remember Vic Williams had that crazy year.
Okay.
And his playoff game, they did a boxing one on him.
Down there at Creek Bridge?
Yeah.
I was at that game.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
The whole team was pretty much guarding him.
But I'm talking about this girl never got a chance to breathe.
They picked her up from
this locker room.
Yeah, all the way down court.
This was crazy, man.
And she had to dribble like so much just to get across that court.
So much. And I remember you said to me at one point against the Mine, she getting gassed. and I saw it. It was like she was like, that girl didn't hardly have nothing left in the tank.
She didn't want to run for it. She just was standing up and just like throw it high.
Just throw it. I'll just try to get it, And the thing about it is that there was multiple combinations for it wasn't just, the starters. Even when the starters were not in the game, when they brought in them other little guards, what's the little girl's name? Kamira and them.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. So that was a great performance last night by Mullins. It really was. Looking at the girls 3A, And today, Emerald will play Keenan in the Upstate, and the Dillon Wildcats will meet Bishop England. This is going to be a third time they played them in the last 4 or 5 years or so.
They've been going at it,
and they've not beaten them yet. This is gonna be a tough sledding. They haven't beaten them.
All those good teams Dillon had never beat.
They had never beat them. Wow. And I haven't seen this Bishop England team yet, and I don't know if I know they said they got great size, so that could pose a problem for Dillon. But who knows? Maybe it's time for Dillon to win.
They got to start.
I don't know.
Caleb Bell, she can get it done.
Yes, she can. In the 4A girls, we have South Point knocking off Westwood last night to get to state championship. So they'll face North Augusta, who beat Myrtle Beach last night in the lower state final. And, I watched that game last night, and I never really had the feeling that Myrtle Beach would win that game. Now, granted, North Augusta didn't play all that well. They didn't play great last night. They weren't their usual super efficient selves that I seen earlier in the week at Wilson.
Wow.
But Myrtle Beach is starting a lot of youngsters. They're starting a freshman backcourt, and they're going to be good. Myrtle Beach is going to be a problem going forward. I'm telling you right now. But last night, they were up against insurmountable odds, as I said last week. Through the last 2 weeks, their record was 77-3 over 3 years.
North Augusta.
Yeah. So they're efficient and they're going back. I don't know what South Point's got, but they better bring it or they're going to be in a world of trouble. 5A girls today, Sumter will play Spring Valley, and Spring Valley is the #1 team in the state. And Lexington will play Goose Creek. Goose Creek is up there too, 2 or 3 or something like that. So that's going to be interesting to see. And Goose Creek this game is being played here in Florence today. So if you have never seen Goose Creek basketball team before, you got an opportunity to go out there today, you should go. Goose Creek has an incredible basketball tradition down there, boys and girls, and the Gator Nation. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull off the big win today. But looking at these brackets, I'm thinking they got Sumter in the upstate playing against Spring Valley, and you got Lexington in the lower state playing against Goose Creek. Really?
Don't you get to Sumter before you get to Lexington?
Well, you know what? I'm thinking, how about Sumter and Goose Creek for a lower state final?
Yeah.
How about Spring Valley, Columbia,
and
versus Lexington, Columbia for an upper state final?
It's a mess.
It's a mess. In the single A boys, we're going to get this today too, and I'm looking forward to this. Hemingway Tigers again. I don't know how many times this has been that they've been in the lower states. It's like every year.
Yeah.
Okay. And they will face off against Bethune-Bowman, and that game will take place at 12:30 today in the upstate. High Point Academy will play Great Falls, and if you know anything about high school basketball in South Carolina, the name Great Falls should not be a mystery to you. Okay, because they got a bunch of state championships, and they're in the mix every single year at some level. Whether they get beat in the first round, second round, whatever. Great Falls is going to be in a tournament, and they're going to be in it every year, or there is no tournament.
You're right.
It's just the bottom line. Looking at some others. Oh, that's right. It's break time. I'll be right back, folks.
98.3 FM.
Left my headphones home.
WJAY.
My
This
phone
is Rick
is
Fowler
dying
with Fowler
on
Furniture and Bedding. Stop by our store to
I don't
register
know.
for a free
You can't
recliner
charge it.
valued at $500, just in time for the final
getting all
four.
these
You can't
pop-up
win if you don't
messages.
register by
Pop-ups,
Saturday,
pop-ups.
March 30th.
This
Register
wants to
at
stop.
Fowler
That's
Furniture and
supposed to
Bedding
stop.
on
This
Main
wants to
Street in
stop.
Mullins.
Shut
Open
this
Monday through
program
Friday,
down.
10 to 6, and Saturday from 10
I
to
think
5.
what I was trying to
Fowler
create
Furniture
space
and
for
Bedding.
myself.
Are you looking for childcare or an after-school program for your child? Then what about
I can't get
Pleasant
to the
Grove
program
Academy?
right now, but it's been
Pleasant
2
Grove
years
Academy
now.
welcomes
It's
infants,
time for
toddlers,
them
and
to sell me a new
preschoolers
phone.
and offers an after-school program for school-age students. Pleasant Grove Academy is located
I don't wanna buy a new
on
phone.
campus of Pleasant Grove Baptist Church in
Clear space on
Marion,
it.
and they're on a
I got an
mission
SD
to
card.
use proper education to
80
address
gigs on
the
it.
social, emotional,
it's fine.
physical, and
I
spiritual
don't know. When I
needs
get
of
home, I'll go
children.
to YouTube and
They
see if
are
I
a
can get this mess
faith-based
cleaned up.
institution,
It's a mess.
licensed by South Carolina
But,
TSS accepts ABC vouchers, and offers a state-approved 4K school readiness program. So call Pleasantville Academy
Great
today
Falls, they
for
got
more
the crowd. Like, I
information.
remember
At
they played Calhoun County at State, and that crowd, Great Falls, brought out.
That's 843-423-2096.
When they played Raymond,
Pleasant Grove Academy,
you weren't that.
inspiring young minds to learn.
Good evening, every time when you stop into your Big John's Soul Food
And
Restaurant
they're
and
fair.
barbecue grill located
It's
at
crazy.
Street, Marion, South Carolina. The best eating in town, where you get a little bit of everything on our
We used to play Jasper.
delicious fried chicken, tender
Back in
turkey
the day.
wings, hog maw,
That's right.
seasoned baked
Richland
chicken,
is Jasper.
two beefs,
Yeah,
mother pork chops, oxtails,
Crazy
meatloaf, pig feet, and so much more. Oh, don't forget
Crazy.
Big John Grill for your real
One of the wildest crowds.
right?
Crazy.
Best sellers like Boston
Get somebody else.
Stop in today to Big John Soul Food Restaurant and Barbecue Grill, 1105 East River Street in Marion, where we open Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
King Street kinda
Sunday,
rowdy, too.
11 a.m. to 7
King
p.m.
Street, they're kind of rowdy.
Today,
Kinda.
423-423. That group is about to round this up.
Big John Soul
King
Food
Street
Restaurant in
crowds.
Marion.
Dangerous. They're dangerous.
And you'll see us all
Those
good.
people hurt you. They hurt you. Anyway, we're back here. We were just kind of just kicking around crazy fan bases, and Naeem brought up King Street, and he brought up the Jasper County crowd from Richland, Hardyville, and he brought up the people from Great Falls, and you got a lot of crazy fans out there. But I was telling Naeem, out of all those people, King Street people are like scary fans. I think those people will hurt you if you mess with them. Anyway, not in a bad way. But anyway, looking at the 3A boys, Chester and Keenan in the upstate. Keenan is moving on to the finals, and they will play. Wait a minute. No, they haven't played yet. What am I doing? Could I have jinxed them just now?
Oh, they play today?
They play
that's
today.
big time right there.
23rd, Chester versus Keenan. I don't think Chester has a chance in that game.
Nah,
Keenan is big, and this might be the best team they say Keenan's ever had.
that's
I'm just
crazy.
telling you, man.
I don't mean
They say in reality, when you start ranking the teams in the state, like the whole state, they said Keenan's probably the best team in the state right now over everybody. They only lost one game this year, and that was to Dorman. And Dorman right now, as you see, is in the 5A finals as well.
Goodness
And so King Street, these guys right here, Keenan is a real problem. So whoever gets them is going to get trouble. And that's probably going to be Ridgeland Hardyville, even though I hadn't seen Manning this year. I don't know what they have. But Manning and Ridgeland Hardyville played today. And that's some of those crazy fans Naeem and I were just talking about. Yeah, those people were loud, and they were vociferous, and they were a little bit scary too.
Oh yeah, they were pointing and in your face.
Yeah.
That.
A guy said to me after a foul was called, and I said, "Oh yeah, good foul." He poked me in the back and said, "Yo, man, that wasn't no foul." Yo, do you even know me, man? You just poked me in the back just now. And I look back at this guy like, did this guy just poke me just now?
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I need to move a little bit further down, because if this guy thinks it's okay to poke me, he might think it's okay to poke me in the back with a knife or something. So,
Yeah, that's not a foul.
oh my goodness. Anyway, that happens today. Looking at the Class 5A, and this should be interesting today. Dorman and Malden in the upstate, and in the lower state, Lexington and Berkeley. And by the way, Lexington is unbeaten as we speak. They hadn't lost a game all year. I think they're like 30-0 or something like that. Now, I don't know how comfortable I am going through the whole season undefeated. You don't know what a loss feels like. You don't want to find out now.
Yeah, because that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
You're done. So I saw some clippings of them and their fans when they finished the regular season undefeated. They said that's the first time that's ever happened in Lexington. But Berkeley is not going to be a pushover. They handled West Ashley 72-52. They beat River Bluff 76-64, and they beat Blythewood 60-48. So I don't think Berkeley's going to be a pushover. They might be a problem. Lexington, they beat Conway. They beat who else? They beat Goose Creek, and they beat South Florence. So this is going to be a good one today. That's one that I'm sure that the fans are going to want to stick around for. Because Lexington is definitely on. Class 4A boys. Wren got hammered by Ridgeview. Ridgeview is a team that is nothing to play with either. You saw that roster. I said they got all that size and craziness going on.
6'11", that's I'll never forget that.
6'11" and 6'8" front line, okay? Sprinkled in with a bunch of other 6'4" and 6'5" guys. They're going to be a problem. The only game that Keenan beat them this year. I think they only lost 1 or 2 games as well. Then you have Darlington and Wilson last night. And I was kind of, Darlington didn't play no ball last night. They didn't play well at all from the beginning. They missed a ton of shots last night, makeable shots. They missed a ton of free throws last night. And Wilson, the kid from Dillon, the Boatwright kid, the big tall boy.
Oh, okay.
He was a beast last night. This kid, Allen Williamson, senior guard, big guy, long, rangy, about 6'4". He killed them last night as well. But Darlington, and they still only lost by a few points. I mean, they still had a chance at the end to make some hay. But Wilson finished them off. Wilson is going to the state championship for the 3rd time in a row themselves.
That's great.
Now,
Do you think this is a good squad, capable squad like last year?
no. I don't think this team is nearly as good as the team last year or the year before. And the team that they're going to play against, Ridgeview,
Didn't miss a beat from last year.
I think Ridgeview beat them last year.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to get a win against Ridgeview. But I was thinking it was going to be Darlington. I don't think many people felt. Look, Wilson had already lost to Darlington twice this year, and Darlington blew them out.
Darlington beat a lot of teams this year.
Darlington beat them by 19. They beat them, I believe, about 13 or 14. So nobody was thinking that Dillon, I keep saying Dillon, but that Wilson would win this game. Only the Wilson fans, which they think they're going to win every game. That's Wilson fan for you. But but here we go on the Saturday morning. Then after the game, Wilson moving on to the finals.
That's big for their coach.
That's huge. Because he's getting a little bit of blowback this year from his fans. I'm telling you, somebody told me the Wilson fans are the toughest fans out there. Because Wilson think they should win the state championship every year, no matter who's on the team. You know fans like that?
Yeah.
They should win anyway. So he told me last night, he said he had a lot of discipline problems this year. If I had my phone working, I'd be able to play it for you. He had a lot of discipline problems this year. They say he yanked Bolt right out of a game in Hartsville that they were on the verge of winning. But he said something back to him, and Coach said, sit over here. And he had some other discipline problems this year that he was telling me about that prompted him to make decisions that may not have been popular with the fan base because they lost that game to Hartsville.
Yeah, they did.
Okay? So it's tough, man. But, coaches got a job to do, and their job is bigger than just coaching. They do have to be molders of men and women.
And I know it's never popular. You're
right.
And
Exactly.
It's a tough move.
Tough. So that is the story. Anything that you see last night that you want to kind of?
Last night, man, I was just proud of the Mullins effort. They had a challenge against a player they never seen as skilled, and they were able to do something that they weren't able to do at home. They were up, like we said, up by 13 at home, end up losing that lead. Up by 13 in this game, and they held that lead, and that's a remarkable job. Remarkable job to Jalea Nichols, 3 years, 3 straight championships.
Wow.
Janelle Sindap, same way, one of the most decorated players they got.
No doubt.
And you got to see Wilson and Hartsville's Trey Hannibal, 62 points.
Naeem, I'm going to tell you something. That was the most unbelievable performance I'd ever seen. And believe me, I've seen a lot of great ones. You know the only thing that comes close to that? When that kid from King Street came over and lit Mullins up there.
Deshane Murphy?
Deshane Murphy. Now, I left that game with Deshane Murphy with my jaw dropped to the floor, okay? But the other night again with Trey Hannibal, man, this guy did everything to Wilson. I mean, I never seen a kid with such nimble feet off the dribble. Because, again, they had 2 and 3 people draped on him all night. he would come down. There would be two guys here and one guy directly on him. And he'd size it up and he'd do a move and he'd skip through one, he'd skip back to the other, and he'd spin and do something crazy off the glass or nothing but net on the floater. When they let him get loose, you know, like whenever he got any space in the open floor, it was over, man.
I never saw him play before. He's a guard?
He's a guard. He's about 6'2",
He's a
6'3".
dude.
He's about 6'2", 6'3". But the guy's got incredible leaping ability. Once he goes on, it's over. I'm telling you. And not only that, the 20 rebounds. He's a guard. He's a big guard, but he got 20 boards, man.
20 rebounds.
And most of those boards turned into points. A lot of them was offensive rebound. They couldn't do anything with this boy. And they had outstanding defenders on him. There was nothing they could do to slow him up. I didn't know the guy had 62 points because, frankly, I don't know what 62 points look like in a game. I've never seen it before in a high school game. But at the end, man, Wilson people, they were kind of humbled by the experience. I mean, they knew that they were in a game. They knew this guy did something special. They knew that they were in the gym when something historic happened. And that's what I felt when I left that game. I was like, you know what? I just seen something, A, that I've never seen before, and B, that I probably will never see again. Now, Trey Hannibal's going to go off to his college career. For now, when he is a grandfather, you know, people are going to still be talking about this. Anyway, am I done here? Okay, folks, that's all the time I got. I guess most of you will be over at the game today. And I'll see you there. Thank Naeem for coming by this morning, my brother. And I'll be headed back to the house for a little while and then off to Florence. Won't be here next week, though. State championship. I'm out. Later. Thanks, folks. Thanks, Naeem.
Review of high school sports in
He's
Marion,
better than
South Carolina.
my man.
Join us again next
He's better
time
than
for PD
old boy, the
Sportswrap.
guard man.
98.3